Is the NAE 4-HA My4-H orientation webinar. So want you to walk away today with a couple things. First of all, we want you to gain a better understanding of the purpose of the next generation My4-H. What was the intent of its development? Want you to gain a better understanding of the value of it to you and to your 4-H program. And as a result, how you can begin to take some action steps to help my4-H work for your program. So we're going to go ahead and dive in, and if you have some questions, I'll try to pause frequently for some questions. You can also type them in the chat box, or we'll make sure that we can address them by the end as well. Okay, the new my4-H, or as we refer to it as the next generation my4-H. It does sit on the .org site. The direct URL is www.my4-H.org/my4-H. It was launched just this past March, and simply put, the next generation my4-H serves as a central and collaborative tool for 4-H professionals, volunteers, youth leaders, our partners, really from anywhere to share and engage around 4-H related resources. Most importantly, though, the next generation my4-H is a tool for all of us to learn from one another, making it a part of what we do, but of course making it even better. I think you'll see how my4-H can be integrated with your professional development as well as with your volunteer training at the local, state, regional, and even the national level as a means to maximize your learning and engagement. So let's go ahead and do a walk through the site and see how it works. Here's a snapshot of the next generation my4-H homepage located at 4h.org/my4-H. For those of you who are familiar with the old my4-H site, the next generation my4-H contains some significant differences. For one, the features have been simplified. My4-H now focuses on resources and discussions. And those resources are everything from the national level through locally produced. The directory material is now available through my4-H. And there's also discussions, and those discussions can happen around the resources themselves or also around user-generated topics under the discussion tab. Next generation my4-H does not contain any closed communities or any opportunity for one-on-one interaction. So that means that our youth leaders are able to fully engage as partners in the learning as well as partners in the sharing. So next generation my4-H sits on .org is going to allow us for more and more integration of the resources you may be looking for. To begin, to fully engage on the site, you'll want to click on the sign-in button located in the upper right. And first-time users, you'll be directed to create an account. Creating an account requires very basic information, your name, your email, which will serve as your username, your email will, a password, which you can change at any time, along with your location and affiliation to 4-H. Now realize the only public-facing information will be your name. The other users will not know if you're a professional, if you're a volunteer, or even if you're a youth. Others will not be able to tell where you're from or what land-grant university you may be affiliated with. The only public-facing information will be your name. After you complete the initial setup of an account, you can log in with your username, which is your email, and a password. If you forget either one, you can click the appropriate forgot link there, and you'll immediately receive an email with a random password. And once you're in there, you can change your password anytime by going to the profile. But you do have to be logged in order to engage in the site, such as uploading, downloading, commenting, rating, those kind of things. Once you're logged in, let's begin by showing you how you can share your resources. You would start by clicking the Upload tab. You'll be prompted with an option. Do you want your resource to be submitted for national 4-H peer review or not? If you're participating in that process, you would then click on the Submit for Peer Review, and you would actually leave this site to enter the peer review process. Otherwise, if you're not concerned about your resource going through the national peer review process right now, just click Upload Now to continue uploading your resource without that peer review process. There are 2 pages involved in the uploading process. The first page, as seen here, involves information that will be used in the basic search. You choose the resource type, whether it's a file or a link, and if you have a video, just provide the link to the video instead of trying to upload the whole video to the site. You decide the title, and the description, and tags. And tags are like keywords or unique identifiers that your intended audience might search on to find your resource. You might consider adding your name as a tag or creating a unique tag for your event or your state or county program. You can use multiple tags, and we'll see that here in just a minute. But when a user does a basic search on the my4-H site, the search engine will search through the title, the description, and any given tags of the resource. Okay? There's some common tags at the footer of the page that may apply to your resource. Something we see putting up there in the future will be Galaxy. You know, if you tag anything that relates to Galaxy, they would click on that and be able to find those. That's one of the ways they can search. The important thing here is to think, how would you expect your intended audience to search for that resource? How would you expect them what word would they use, or if you told them, what are some keywords that they could use to find those resources? The second page in uploading involves information in the advanced search. So again, thinking about how your intended audience might search for your resources, you'll want to get familiar with this taxonomy. You can check as many as applicable to your resource. You have to, some places there you have to at least select one, but you can do multiple if it applies. But like I said, the biggest challenge here is getting familiar with this taxonomy as the categories expand out to more options. Now I'm going to take you to a side note here just to show you what it looks like when you expand all those options under category. This is just a quick glance at the subcategories that exist under what we call the Big 8 categories. You have evaluation, professional development, program planning, resource development, volunteer development, marketing promotion, curriculum, which you can see has quite the extensive list, and the program delivery. You might also notice these are the Big 8 categories that coincide with the large scrolling icons when you first land on the my4-H homepage. That offers another way for users to quickly begin searching resources. A complete printout of this taxonomy, if you'd like to print that out and have it, you know, to look at as you're uploading some resources, if you get onto the site and search my4-H tools, you'll find this is one of the tools that'll come up, and you can print that off from there. So finishing up page 2 of the uploading process, you decide if the resource you're uploading should appear as a state-approved resource or not. If you think that it should, you would click Yes and select the appropriate source, which is the land-grant university from the drop-down list. This will shoot off an email to that land-grant university state approving authority. Only after that state's land-grant university approving authority agrees do they forward the email to the my4-H administrator, where we then will add the state-approved purple ribbon icon to the resource. Realize the resource, state-approved requested or not, is available on the site right after you click Submit. It's available immediately. It'll appear with submitted by, you know, John Smith, but it's only after the land-grant university state approval will it actually receive the special icon. The last note on the uploading process, for any resource you upload, you decide if you want to receive an email notification anytime someone would comment on that particular resource. Complete the CAPTCHA, make sure you check for accuracy, and click Submit. And at that point, it would be available for downloading the site from other people. Okay, so now let's walk through the search. By clicking on the search tab, there's two different ways to search on my4H. The first is the basic search. The basic search involves the title, description, and any given tags. Here you can see I typed GPS in the basic search box. The resources with GPS, whether it was in the title, the description, or they've been tagged GPS, would be found. The second way of searching is using the advanced searching. The advanced search is based on that taxonomy that we just talked about, and that taxonomy that was assigned to that resource during the upload process. Here I'm looking for any resources assigned to subcategory camping, which is under the Big 8 category of program delivery. But also I want to find a camping resource that's tied to the source of Cornell, let's say, for example. So you can see if any resources are found that way. Once you find the resource that you're interested in, you can click on it by going to its detail page. It's here where you can actually download, get the resource. Note the download counter. You can see how many times this resource has been downloaded. You can also add a third person tag. Maybe there's somebody else that has a resource that I'd like my audience to find. I can add a tag, my appropriate tag that I'm telling my audience to somebody else's resource. It's not actually going to be seen. The only tags that you'll see are the ones added to that resource during the uploading, the initial uploading process. But you can add additional ones after that. You won't see them, but they will work in the search. You, of course, can rate the source up to 5 stars, and comment on the resource. Carry on that conversation or sharing from a workshop that you did around that resource. And, of course, you can always flag the resource if necessary. That will throw flag up to the administration-wise, and we can deal with the situation appropriately. But do remember, you do have to be logged in for all of these features to appear. Otherwise, you're just kind of browsing and you're not really shopping around. If you're logged in, all of those buttons will appear. A quick note on what determines trending, highest ranked, and recommended resources. Trending, it's determined by a combination of number of downloads and comments over the past 7 days. Highest ranked is, of course, determined by the users rating the resources. And recommended is based on adherence to the highest educational standards within 4-H and or its relevancy to current National 4-H Youth Development Program. For an example, the National Peer-Reviewed Resources and the Directory Materials, those where we have a blue check mark saying that they're nationally reviewed, those will fall under the recommended tab. Excuse me. And finally, there's a discussion feature on my4H where any user can start a topic. They can ask a question, share an experience, or maybe give a new perspective on a subject encountered in the 4-H world. These discussions are standalone, as they do not directly connect to any of the particular resources. But to participate in the discussion, just simply click the discussion tab. A list of existing discussion topics appear. Find a topic of interest or start a new topic that interests you. But again, just remember you have to be logged in order to fully engage on the discussions, meaning starting a topic or replying. Okay, so that's just a quick walkthrough of the next generation of my4H. So what would we like for you to do? Start off with, we'd like you to let my4H work for you. Put it to work. Upload your resources. Share any documents or direct links to specific resources that you find helpful. We know how powerful it is when we all get together and share our programs and templates or camp activities or volunteer training pieces, etc. But time and money can limit how much we can actually get together and share. Well, my4H is that tool to share exactly those type of resources without boundaries and without budget limitations. And don't think that the resource you have, that the resource has to be bounded and published to be of quality for sharing. Yeah, it's great to have that, the national or even state-approved resources. But we also know there's a lot of resources out there that are very helpful to us in our programming that might not necessarily have gone through that type of review. So if it's helpful to you, you can be sure it's going to be helpful to somebody else. And so we all need to share out. This is Adopt My4-H is your go-to tool. It's a part of working smarter, not harder. We're known in Extension to having plenty of handouts. We come home from a conference, paying extra fees for our weighted bags of great things, only to hit reality, and it might be weeks or months till we dig through looking for that information. Or you present at a workshop, or maybe even conduct a poster session, and despite getting overcharged at the local printer for copies because you waited until the last minute to complete your handouts, you still don't have enough. Now you can, then you end up collecting the participants' emails that you have to enter by hand, and you're hoping you're deciphered the handwriting correctly, only just to email them out, and that's a one-way communication. And you're left wondering, did they use it? Was it helpful? What did they think about this resource? Could they provide you with some additional ideas? I challenge you to think by adopting my4-H as your go-to tool, you can wait till the last minute. You can provide the information to them to retrieve when they're ready for it. You can drive into my4-H, tell them to search for that keyword or your tag or even the title of the resource. They can go there, find it. You can follow how many times it's been downloaded. Other people can share. You have it reach a wider audience, maybe people that didn't come to the conference, or people are using that resource with their volunteers back home. You're still getting that accountability of how much your resource is being used. It opens the conversations. You get feedback of ratings. A lot of it, you can add additional resources in the future. Let's say you updated it or there's an additional piece that you'd like to share. If it's under the same tag, that when that audience comes to looking for that resource, they're going to find that additional resource. As you train your volunteers, let my4-H work for you in uploading and tagging your resources and pointing them to that so that they can easily locate those things. We're working to add tools to help you promote and use the site. There's currently a one-page information sheet as well as a postcard, and we're working on some presenter cards where you could actually put your name of your resource, your tags on that, and instead of collecting everybody's business cards, let's say at your poster session at Galaxy, you're handing out your presenter cards and driving people to say, hey, go to my4-H, and all the information you'll find under these tags or these titles that are on your presenter cards. And then you're able to carry on that conversation and be accountable to how many times it's been downloaded. So accessing these growing number of tools to promote engagement and help you in using the site. There's a website banner, too, that's available under my4-H tools when you search for that. It's a hyperlinked web banner that you can put up onto your local sites to help your youth and your volunteers find additional information. Maybe they come in asking about a certain subject that you don't know exactly where the resources are. You could easily drive them to my4-H and see what other information they can find out there way beyond the borders of your county program. Okay, now that you've seen the function and feature of the site, we want your input. Got a couple questions that I'm going to ask you, and I'm also going to post them in a poll. Give me a second here to get these up. We touched base on some of the tools, such as the hyperlinked web banner and a one-page information sheet and the upcoming presenter cards. But how else might we help you in promoting the use and engagement on my4-H to your audiences? Thinking colleagues, volunteers, what additional tools would be helpful? I'm going to give you all these questions, and you can type in there, and after I give you the questions, then I'm going to definitely open the floor here and let you guys have some conversation. We'd love to hear back from your thoughts here. My second question is, what would lead you to the decision to upload resources to my4H? What would motivate you? What does it take, and knowing that you've got busy lives, busy jobs, what would it take to lead you to the decision to upload resources to my4H? And based on your current knowledge of the my4H site, what benefits do you think you'll find most valuable? And the last question I have before I be quiet and listen to your feedback is, based on your knowledge now of my4H, how likely are you to recommend my4H to a colleague, volunteer, or peer? I'll put those out there. So if you want to come off mute and share back thoughts, random thoughts or questions, I see we have a question here from Jane that we'll address. Or if you have anything that maybe you just don't want to type, you just assume say it, I'd be more than interested to address that as well. Let me start with Jane. Can resources already listed on my4H be submitted for national peer review? Good question, Jane. If they're been already submitted to my4H and not, when they were uploaded, they were not taken through the peer review process at that time, they would need to be resubmitted through the peer review process because that is a separate piece. And whenever they are approved, we would be able to go in and add the blue check mark icon for national peer review. So you'd have to submit them through the peer review process again if it wasn't done the first time. Jane, I hope that answered your question there. Patsy asked, can anyone add resources to the my4H page? Do they need to be approved before actually uploading to the site? Do all resources need to go through the peer review? Okay. Can anyone add resources to my4H? And the answer is yes, they can. They have to log in. They have to create an account, basically, a username, email, and a password. But yeah, anybody can upload a resource. They do not have to go through the peer review. That's back to whenever you click the upload, you'll have a page pop up that says, do you want to upload for the peer review or not? And probably for majority of, a lot of times you're just going to say, no, I just want to upload now. You don't want to go through that process. You want to just share some of the resources you have. Just say upload now, and there's no peer review process you have to go through. One of the things we're really hoping, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this now, and I'm going to put up my contact information too. Let me know, is as we're going into Galaxy, we know that's a great place during our NAE4HA meetings that there's so many ideas and so many great resources that we share, and it never fails, it seems like, that the two best workshops you want to go to are going to be held at the same time. How can we get that information? Think about using my4H. All those poster sessions, or if you're presenting a poster session, considering using what's going to be coming up is the presenter cards. You create the cards ahead of time and have a particular tag and add Galaxy as one of those tags where you can hand those out at your poster session and people can invite them, point them to my4H to find your resources. And they can comment, and you can get an email to say, hey, somebody's commented about your resources, and continuing that conversation throughout the year. Do you have an example of these cards that you're talking about? I have an example. Unfortunately, my computer crashed last week, and I'm not able to find my example, so I will redevelop it, and it'll be available whenever you search my4H tools. That is high on the priority list, Veronica, and I appreciate you asking that. The plan was to have it available, but it's no longer there. But if we're looking, it's probably going to be something like a publisher where you can copy and paste in your information, your titles, things like that. it'll be searchable under the my4H tools, and you can provide your feedback of what formats work or not working, and we'll find. James asking, do resources that have been reviewed either by state or national come up first as a result of the search? Not necessarily. Trending, I think when you do a search on my4H, under the tab, I think it comes up under the tab trending first, and then you can click on the tab of highest recommended, highest ranked and recommended. And the national ones will appear under the recommended. So the order is going to default to being the trending, which is basically what has had the most downloads, comments, or most recently, within the past 7 days, been uploaded. I do have my contact information there. Feel free to reach out and ask some questions or provide some insights and suggestions. This is a tool that we're really saying, we want you to adopt it and take it and use it for your benefit. Obviously, there's going to be national 4-H curriculum available on there, but this is something that you can personalize and use with your volunteers just as easy. And I really look forward to working with you in the future and hopefully see you at Galaxy.